You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. And I know I've got it on my board here. Oh, it's over here. Oh, there it is. Is today Monday?
I don't think so. Hold on, let me check. Not even close.
Okay.
Welcome back. Feels like it.
Welcome back, Lynda Eisenmann.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. You know, maybe it's almost the weekend. Maybe that's why my brain turned off.
That's it. You're right.
And maybe it's because of our celebrations of the day today.
What are they?
Today's National Fajita Day. Okay. That's good. Ice Cream Pie Day. And Pinot Noirs. Now, I got a little story about Pinot Noir because it is hysterical. Now, the ABC likes traditional items. So the Pinot Noir is pretty simple. Out at Wilson Creek, I don't know if they still have it out there. Wilson Creek Winery. I know the winery is there. But they used to have a wine that he came out with. And in order to get it past the ABC, it was Pinot Moir. Pinot Noir. So he just wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. So it was Wilson Creek. I don't know. We might have to look at that, Josh, and see if they have that. It's out in Temecula. So I don't go out there very often, but we might be going out there a little more frequently coming up. And we're looking at maybe bringing on 5 new affiliates. So we'll see what happens with that. But let's take a look at what's going on in the news this morning. Is there anything exciting? Well, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it's been bouncing all over the place this morning. So right now, and I don't know what's driving it from going down. It was down quite a bit. Now it's only down 16. The Nasdaq is up 52. The S&P 500 is up 11. Oil down up $1. Holy cow! I can't even speak today. Holy moly! Oil's up $1.81 a barrel, 89.92. Let's see anything else. Let's take a look at gas prices. What the heck? Maybe I can read those without having a Joe Biden moment. I don't know. Gasoline, California, $5.33 a gallon right here. That's the national average, or the state average, $5.33. Josh, you're over there, $4.92, still dropping. I want to go. Maybe I might have to go over and visit you just to get some gas. $4.07 is what Jody's paying. Lori's the winner, obviously. She's always the winner. She's our tremendous underwriter. $3.50 a gallon of gasoline is what she's paying right there in Louisiana. $3.93 is the national average. And we are, oh, wow, it just flipped. Hawaii is now paying more money than we are in California. Maybe it's the cost of transporting the gasoline over to Hawaii. They're a penny more than we're paying in California. Checking out the news. What else is going on? Liz Cheney's in the news. Loser. But, and something it fascinates me with politicians, how they can spin everything. If she wanted to win by 70% again, all she had to do was listen to her constituents. Oh, no, she didn't say that. Surprise. Yeah, so she's got the family vendetta going, and now maybe she'll be unemployed. I think she wants to see if she can run for president now. So she lost by 30 points in Wyoming, and she thinks she's going to become president. Politicians, you got to love it. Unbelievable. What else is going on in the news? Finally, they've found a way to get one of the Trump people indicted. I got to love this one. So this is Trump Organization CFO. He pled guilty to tax evasion. Now, if he's guilty of this tax evasion, I'm on public radio. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but here's what they got him on. And I venture to guess 87,000 new IRS agents will be looking for this because they'll find it all over. Think about this one. So the CFO used one of the Trump Organization's apartments and did not claim it on his tax return. He got rides in a Trump Organization car and did not claim that on his tax return. So he is guilty. Can you believe that? Now, I must admit that, I've had rides in cars before, and I never claimed them as income tax, as income for my taxes. Could you imagine if we all had to start claiming the car rides we get as income? I had an IRS audit 20 years ago, and they came into us and they said, "Did you ever take a pencil home?" I said, "Of course I did." "Well, did you pay for it?" "Well, of course I did not." "Oh, well, I'm glad you at least answered honestly, because that is a violation." And I said, "Okay, well, do you want me to give you the 3 cents that I evaded my taxes on because of the sales tax that I should have paid on the pencil I took home?" That was the issue right there. Can you imagine that? I mean, I've owned businesses my whole life. I've taken pens home. I've taken pencils home. I've taken paper clips home. Doesn't everybody? It just gets me when you start thinking about some of these things, that the pettiness out there, and you wonder why the media is not trusted. And I'm the first to admit, we need a watchdog. The media's job is to be the watchdog over politicians and over things that are going on. But do you trust them to be a watchdog? I certainly would not. Moving right along. We're seeing a tightening in the real estate world. Have you seen some of the things they're going? Well, you probably don't watch this stuff like I do. But you probably got a life, and I watch news. Right, so we're watching Wells Fargo talking about getting out of portions of the mortgage business. That's interesting. I saw that Celebrity is shutting down their mortgage business. Caliber is 75%. New Res is closing 75% of the Caliber offices. Loan Depot getting out of the wholesale channel. What's going on? Well, it's basically the same thing that always happens. In the last 2 years, you didn't have to be smart to do a loan. All honesty, you didn't have to be really that smart or good to sell a piece of property. Put a sign up, the demand was there, you sell it. Well, it's changing right now. People want great advice. We're seeing that the market, some people are even saying the market is in a real estate recession. I just saw that news coming out. Might have been, well, I don't know if it's news, because if it's on CNBC, do we call it news? I generally
maybe not.
Yeah. Well, Lynda, you'll love this one. I reported this earlier this week. CNBC, Grant Cardone said the only reason you would buy a primary residence is if you want to waste money. That was Grant Cardone.
He's a TV guy, right?
No, he's a social media influencer.
Okay. Go figure then.
And owns lots of rental properties.
Okay. Oh, well.
I think he's talking his own book, right? I mean, you think he's talking his own book when he says, "Don't buy real estate, go out there." And he gave an interesting examples and went through a $100,000 property. Now, he lives in California. One of his houses is in California. Gave a $100,000 property and said that, if you put down $5,000, was it $5,000 or $10,000? And I forgot what he used, but you make $100,000 over 10 years, and after expenses and interest and taxes, you net out $14,000. But he never shared with his audience that you got to pay for rent somewhere.
Of course.
Right? But that didn't count. You made $14,000 and a roof over your head, as opposed to renting for $3,000 a month And over 10 years, that's what, $360,000 out of pocket.
Oh, is he saying there's no appreciation in this time?
Oh, it worked out to 1.4%.
1.4%. I'd like to see his numbers.
We'll talk about it in the next
where
segment.
he gets that. Okay.
Josh, can we have tell me what day we had that, if you would, please. I'll bring that up. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, planning to retire, your equity can help you reach your goal. What is alternative data? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily home and finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. Payment Assistance Program, it is back. Geneva has that one. rsrpaymentassist.com, rsrpaymentassist.com. Got a couple examples in there. One saved a family, or proposed saved a family, $303,000 over 15 years. One saved a family, $173,000 over 15 years. Go to Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. Our Facebook page has the details of these different programs. The Home Select program, that one's back also. It's a first position home equity line of credit. Great program. EPR about 1.85% is what it works out to on the last scenario I just did. Dow Jones Industrial Average now up 846. The 10-year treasuries are now down. 10-year treasuries down 3 basis points at 2.86. Mortgage-backed securities are up 6 basis points, so they're pretty flat, not doing a whole heck of a lot of anything. But OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions. And I love contrasting the OBMMI number because they are actually locked loans. And then I can contrast that with Freddie Mac, who gives us their data every Thursday morning at 7 o'clock California time. So Freddie Mac says that the 30-year conforming loan right now is at 5.13%. 5.13%. But again, OBMMI, they have the actual data. Yesterday, 5.505 is where loans locked at yesterday. Again, that's across 35% of all locked loans. Jumbo loans, 5.323. FHA loans, 5.411. USDA loans, for those of you in the rural communities, 5.41. And the best loan on the market, but you got to earn it, it's the 30-year VA loan, 5.411. That's where that locked at yesterday. Why is all of this happening? Well, we're getting data's coming out, and we share a lot of it with you. Existing home sales measures closings on existing homes showed that sales were down 5.9% in June at a 4.81 million annualized pace, pretty in line with expectations. Likely measured activity in May and June. You know what was going on in real estate in May and June? Interest rates probably peaked right then. On a year-over-year basis, sales are down 20%, which is leading many, including NAR's Lawrence Yun, to say that we're in a housing recession. The big difference between a housing activity recession, which we're clearly in, and a home price recession, activity has no doubt slowed, but for consumers who is buying a home and may be scared by the media headlines, isn't that a surprise? Home prices are still being supported by low inventory, and there are signs that demand is still strong. Now, let's talk about low inventory here for just a second, because I've got, obviously, if you know Ron Siegel Radio, we've got the charts, and I don't know if you can bring that chart up, Josh. I'm not even sure that I can bring the chart up. I got sounds going in my head.
Sorry.
No problem.
No, I'm sorry.
So, existing homes, here's some stats. 5.9% down month over month to 4.81 million annualized units. Median home price is up 10.8% year over year to 404,000. First-time home buyers, 29% down from 30% last year, 30% last month. Cash buyers are 24% down from 25% last month. Investors, 14% down from 16% last month. But here's the biggie. It's all about inventory. Inventory was up slightly to 1.3 million units, starting to see signs that it might be getting near a top. They tell us there's 3.3 months supply. Normal market is 6 months. There's 747,000 active listings, but 43% of those are under contract. Normally, we have 25% under contract. So if you take those 43% that are under contract off the 747,000, we've got less than 2 months supply of houses available for sale, which would put us at a 14 days on the market. Now, for those of you that don't follow the real estate world, and I know you've got other things to do, 14 days on market, pretty hot number.
It is.
Right? I mean, so now the other thing that we're watching for you also, which we watch all the time, is initial jobless claims, measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time. 10,000 decreased by 2,000, and with the 10,000 lower revision from the prior week, claims are now at 250,000 people filing unemployment benefits for the very first time. That's a leading indicator of what's going on in the economy. So we watch that for you as well. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. So before the break, I was chatting with Lynda about this very, very interesting article that we got on CNBC. Now, it is CNBC, so I can't say that I know for sure that it's true. But they acclaimed it to going to Grant Cardone, who is a self-made millionaire by his own acclaim, and a social media influencer, owns thousands of real estate properties. And his quote to start the article says, "Don't buy a home unless you can afford to waste money." So I wanted to share these numbers with Lynda, and then she and I can talk about it. So he says, let's say you bought a home for $100,000. I don't know where that is. Put $5,000 down payment. Then 10 years later, you sell the house for $200,000. Turn $5,000 into $100,000. Not bad after you pay your mortgage. But you forgot to calculate the cost incurred to own that home. 10 years of interest. He used a 6% number, $60,000 for 10 years. He used 10 years of property taxes. He used 2%, $20,000. Real estate fees of $6,000. Total cost before maintenance was $86,000. So he says you only made $14,000 out of that $100,000 after those fees, 1.4% per year. And he said, you're just wasting money. But he neglects my thinking, and Lynda, tell me where you think here, is he neglected the idea that, I guess if he's going to use a rounded number, and I'm assuming that he used 100,000 because that's an easily multiplied.
Right.
You can multiply it times 10 if you're in Orange County, and you can multiply it times 5 if you're in Riverside County or whatever. So I guess we have to divide I think the Apartment Owners Association says that in Orange County, we're about $2,900 a month, I think, is rent.
For a two-bedroom?
For two-bedroom?
I believe it.
So we have to go 200, let's go to 290.
That's a two-bedroom apartment.
Right, two-bedroom apartment.
Right.
So I think you have to go to $290 if we're dividing everything by 10. And then we're going to multiply that times 120, and I can't do that in my head, but it's about what's that, $36,000, something like that. I better get a calculator because otherwise somebody's going to send me a note saying, Ron, your numbers were wrong. And I've got a calculator here, but I can't find. There it is.
Let me turn my phone back on.
290 times 120, $34,800. So if we add that 34,800 to the 14,000 he says you netted, you're at 48,800 on a $5,000 investment. So you have 10 extra money, and you have a roof over your head.
And you're not making somebody else's payment.
Right.
You're not paying it off for someone else.
Right. That's the whole thing. So I mean, you look at these things and you wonder about people making comments like this. Now, I think I might understand it if you were getting a smoking deal. You know, I must admit I've looked for rental to rent a property, you know, down at the beach, right? And it's expensive, but if I wanted to buy a property down at the beach, I'm needing $1 million down payment, right? I mean, they're $2-3 million, $4 million in the area I want to be, and I could probably rent for $7,000 or $8,000. So I can't afford it. So maybe that might make sense.
Well, let me ask you, when you're considering something at the beach,
right?
Are you talking about long-term or temporary? Because that also make a difference.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, something that's a big issue that very few people talk about when they talk about home ownership, right? I mean, it's best to own your home unless you're thinking you might be transferred or moving or retiring in a very, very short period of time. Right. I mean,
if it was a very short period of time.
Yeah. If you're looking for under a year,
probably could be.
Or like, you know, and I'll ask you this, Lynda. So I told my sister-in-law 30 years ago, I recommended that she not buy a property buy real estate at that time. And the reason I said it was she was just out of college, new in her career, and working for a major corporation. And my thinking was, if you buy a property, that might limit you where you're willing to relocate with that corporation. What do you think?
You think it'd be necessary for the job? I think that's what it would depend upon.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and that was my comment. Is if you think you've got to move, or you can have career advancement by moving or by being mobile.
And what kind of time period are we talking about?
Well, it was
year or two, couple years.
Yeah, that was a short term also.
That would be short term.
Yeah, so you know, because when you're brand new with a corporation, you know, and it's a Fortune 100 company. And I said, you know, something, you know, why limit yourself?
Well, you're right to a degree, and maybe in that circumstance, but think about what you could have bought 2 years ago versus what you're going to pay today for something else.
Sure. You know, that, and right now, I mean, and right now we've got that, you know, still a limited amount of properties on the market. There's still a shortage. Now, you're both in Orange County and in the Coachella Valley.
Yes, primarily Orange County, though.
Okay.
But both.
So I don't get out to the valley. In fact, I haven't been out to the valley in a couple months, but is there a shortage out there as well?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so you can find
a lot more inventory to choose from.
A lot more inventory to choose from.
But it's an entirely different market than our residential market, for example, in most areas of Southern California, because it's more of it's also a second home community. It's a resort community, and they tend to have greater turnover than those of us who live in a more traditional neighborhood.
Okay. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we've also going to chat planning to retire, maybe. Your equity can help you reach your goal. Why is it that the financial planners never put the house or the mortgage into the financial planner? They rarely do. We're going to talk about that. What is alternative data? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. One of the great tools that we offer for free at Ron Siegel Radio. I love this tool because you can shop for real estate anywhere in the country. About 97% of the country is covered by the RSR Home Scout tool. I like that part of it. Then if you go over to the fourth tab over, you can also go and take a look and say, okay, I want to know about what my property's worth. And it's going to give you 4 different valuations just for your own property. So, that one right there. Now, remember when you're looking at a valuation of your property, you're looking at what an appraiser might look at. You're not looking at what a realtor would look at, because those valuation models, what they really show is those are telling you backwards what happened in the past. A realtor is going to give you an idea of what the future might hold. So big difference right there. So what is the planning to retire? Your equity can help you reach your goal. Whether you've just retired or thinking about retirement, you may be considering your options and trying to picture a whole new stage of your life. And you're not alone. Research from Retirement Industry Trust Association, RITA, shows 10,000 baby boomers reach the typical retirement age 65 every day, and only 47% of the people in that generation have already retired. This sounds like you. One thing worth considering is whether or not your current home will suit your lifestyle. If your home doesn't have the features or benefits you're looking for, the good news is you may be in better position to move than you realize. That's because if you already own a home, you've likely built up significant equity, and that can help you fuel your next move. According to the National Association of Realtors, NAR, quote, a homeowner who purchased a typical home 5 years ago would have gained $125,300 from just price appreciation alone, unquote. NAR is, again, national. If you're here in Southern California, you could probably, I don't know,
Bump
double that.
up. You're going to
double
bump that
it,
one
maybe
up.
triple it. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't triple it, but
Double,
maybe double
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Because median price in the U.S. is about $400,000. Orange County, we're at about a little over $1 million, so at least double. In fact, over the last 12 months, CoreLogic reports the average homeowner in the United States gained roughly $64,000 in equity due to home price appreciation. You can use your equity to help you achieve your home ownership goals, whether you want to downsize, move closer to loved ones, or buy a home in a dream destination. Your equity can help get you there. It may be some, if not all, of what you need as your down payment on a home that better fits your changing needs. To find out how much equity to save in your home, call a real estate professional. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'll introduce you to Lynda. Retirement is a big step. So is buying or selling a home. As you move into this new phase of life, let's connect so you have an expert to guide you through the process as you sell your current home and give you expert advice as you buy that'll better suit your needs. And as I ask every day, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can I count on you to give them my number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. One quick added commentary to the report. Think about this. If you have a property that you've had for a long time, say in Orange County, and let's say now the value of the property is $1 million. That's the median price in Orange County now. You've owned it a long time. You haven't used it as an ATM. Maybe you've taken out some money for home improvements here and there, but maybe you don't even have a mortgage on it. Here's the idea. You can sell that property for the $1 million and go and find another property, beach, desert, mountains, whatever you like. Maybe you're going to Texas, Mississippi. I know a lot of people go to Mississippi because of the lifestyle cost benefits. But why pay cash for a new house? Look into a reverse mortgage, do a 50% loan and never have a mortgage payment unless you want to make a mortgage payment, and have that liquidity to do what you want with it. Just an idea. You might want to explore it. Again, that is the real-time real estate segment. So Lynda, before the break, we were chatting a little bit about the differences in, or during the break, you and I were chatting about, being two different areas that have one in North Orange County, Brea, and one in the Coachella Valley that I enjoy. I know you do as well.
My favorite city in the valley,
La Quinta.
La Quinta.
And so during the break, I pulled up a couple of reports here. So Brea median list price, $1,149,000. I don't have to tell you this stuff because you know Brea better than these researchers do. $1,149,000. Cost per square foot is $509. Average days on the market 33. Here's the biggie.
It is
48% of the properties in Brea, 48% of the currently listed properties in Brea have taken a price reduction.
We've had a lot of price reductions across the board. I'd say the past 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, and 7% have been relisted. And it says the single families, there's only 27 in inventory.
Yes.
Is that
Yes. I can tell you earlier in this year, I had a property in Brea, and I was one of 3 single family homes for sale in the entire city of Brea.
Wow. Now let's contrast that with La Quinta.
La Quinta, big difference.
Median list price, $795,000.
I was surprised it was that high, actually, when I looked at it the other day.
Per square foot is $393. 59 days on the market. 50% of the properties have taken a price decrease. 8% relisted, and there's 207 properties available.
Lots to choose from.
Yeah, so it's at 5 times more properties available. No, it's more than that. 27 versus 207.
You're looking at the same population, but there are some differences there. And one of the big differences, obviously, is the fact that it's a second home market. And anytime you're in a second home market, you're going to have more activity in general. I mean, in other words, there's going to be more for sale.
Sure.
There's greater turnover because when in Orange County, people tend to stay in their home a lot longer. And
Is that the case?
Yes, and they have lately. But when it comes to a second property, a vacation home, there are times that people will find they're not using as much as they thought. They don't get there as often, that sort of thing. Maybe it's costing them a little more than they anticipated. So it's kind of a luxury to being able to have a second home.
Well, and you would know it better than me, but La Quinta, one of the other things is they constantly, most of the properties out there that I come across have significant homeowners associations.
Well, they do
as well.
If you're in a gated community, because that's what you're talking about.
Right.
And sometimes it depends on what side of 111 that you're on.
Okay.
And it's true because if
Is it really okay?
Oh yes, absolutely. Because I would think one side of the 111 are more traditional housing. There's probably fewer. There are still quite a few, but fewer gated communities than if you're going to be the other side of 111, which is down towards the mountains and the cove and that sort of thing.
So would you say in that area that there's is one side or the other more transient in the sense of second homes versus primary? Or is that something maybe they don't even
I think it's a valid question. I think for a primary home, I think there's going to be less turnover than a vacation home or a second home, for example.
So when you're down there south of the 111,
that is correct.
You're going to get a lot of second homes. PGA West.
That is correct. And PGA West is huge out there. It's a huge community in general.
You like to go, Nikki? I say the same exact thing. Nikki Gordon says on here, always interesting subject. Love when Lynda's the guest.
Oh, thank you, Nikki.
I say the same thing. I always love having Lynda on. It's one of the best shows we do because we never plan for anything.
We don't.
We just kind of go and say, where are we going? And that that's usually the best shows. And you give out the best information at those times because you're just kind of rolling with what's going on in the world, what's going on in the real estate market. And you've got a lot to compare and share with us, right? Because it's there's some agents that have never seen a market correction or a market slowdown. They got in 3 years ago and they think that that's the way the real estate always is.
Well, it's interesting that you say market correction because I think we're in a completely normal market now.
Okay.
I don't think what we've seen in the past 3 or 4 years, that's not been, in my opinion, has not been a normal market.
You hope not because it's too much appreciation. It's too scary when it goes up like that.
There's no way anybody could keep up with that.
Right.
It's just not sustainable.
So are we back to normal now, or are we still too active?
I personally don't think we're too active. I think we're in a more traditional, more normal market. Properties are staying on the market longer, and there's no longer a line to get in to see a home. If you can believe that, months ago, people were standing in line, maybe 12 couples deep just to see a property. That was ludicrous. There was no place to park in the cul-de-sac, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and you know something, I know you're so correct, but you look at some of the numbers. Redfin came out, and I don't know if you saw this report, but last year they were saying 10% of there's like in 2019, 10% of the properties had multiple offers. Right now, we're still at 40% of the properties have multiple offers, and they say on average 3.5 offers.
Probably.
You know, it's
probably, yes.
And
yeah, it's still greater demand than there is supply. I mean,
that's not going to change.
We're in Southern California. We're in the best, almost, if not the best, almost the best climate in the world.
Well, if you don't like the climate that you have, all you have to do is drive an hour.
That's true.
Right? I mean, I in less than an hour, I can be at the beach. It takes me an hour and a half to get to the Palm Desert. It takes me an hour and a half to get to the mountains.
Right.
Right. So you can have anything you want if you want if you don't like the climate you're in,
get in the car.
Get in the car. Exactly. Although you got to be able to afford the gas. That's a whole different issue.
That's true.
But you're right. I mean, we get so many variances here that I think we're spoiled.
Oh, we are. We are.
I mean, I used to go a lot, and I'd go to I had offices in Chicago and in New York.
Really?
And you go to Chicago this time of year. The only thing I can say about going to Chicago at this time of year, don't. I mean, hot and raining.
Hot and rainy. Okay.
And it's like La Quinta. One day every decade, you get hot, you get rain, and
you get a lot of hot, but
not the monsoons and things like that.
That's true.
You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Lynda Eisenmann. We're going to chat. What is alternative data? You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily home and finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Continuing our conversation with Lynda Eisenmann, Preferred Home Brokers. We're just having a fireside chat. There's no fire here, thank goodness. But just a little morning chat about real estate. Lynda specializes, North Orange County forever.
Primarily.
And more recently.
Recently reaching out to the beautiful community of the Coachella Valley.
Love it out there.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Lots to offer.
Do you like it out there at this time of year?
I can tolerate it this time of year.
So this is when you're happy that you come back to North Orange County.
Well, I used to ask a friend of mine. I had an agent in the office years and years ago that moved to the desert. And I said, Monique, how do you get by in the summertime? What do you do? And she said, Lynda, we do everything we have to do in the morning. We get all of our errands, any business that we need taken care of. And then we kick back all afternoon long. And she's absolutely right.
Really?
Yep.
I thought you were going to say leave.
No. Oh, you wait for happy hour. Happy hour is a big deal in the desert.
Well, yeah, that's what 1 in the afternoon?
No, I know it's a little early. It's a little too happy.
Yeah. I know that I go out there and we go to happy hours as well. And there's a big difference between happy hour in the desert. Maybe it's the restaurants I go to, but happy hour here. because I'll go at a happy hour out there, and I mean, I've had Ruth Chris has
Great meals.
prime rib sliders
Absolutely. Great
for
meals.
$9.
Yep.
I mean, you can eat a whole dinner. My wife and I went there, two cocktails and a full 4-course meal at Ruth Chris,
Wow.
and it was $100
For two of you.
for 2 of us. Right? I mean, you go and you can get it's great. There's some great restaurants. Well, we have trouble. Our biggest problem when we go out to the valley is where are we going to eat, because there's so many good restaurants.
There
out
are.
there.
Lots to choose from.
Lots to choose from. It's a great area to go to. It's a great retirement area.
It is.
It is it as heavily seniors out there, or is the population changing?
It might be changing a little, but it's primarily a senior community. I think it's primarily a senior community.
Okay.
But I will tell you, very active seniors. These aren't people sitting around crocheting and knitting, and I shouldn't say anything wrong about crocheting and knitting, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
It's an active community. It's great places for hiking, great places for biking, nice and flat, unlike my area of North Orange County, which I'm in the hills.
Sure.
But there's just lots, as little or as much to do as you want.
And the last time I heard, there was like 140 something golf courses within like a 20-mile radius. So you can golf wherever you want
I
to,
think you're
whenever
right.
you want to. Although, there's public courses and private
Right.
courses. If you know somebody, you get on the private courses. But
Wonder-
that's a whole different story.
Wonderful driving ranges. That's where I'm spending a lot of my time.
Are you?
Mhm.
Early morning.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you have to. My son was out there recently, and they started playing golf at like 8, and I said, that's kind of late to start. For me, it would be.
It would be.
But there's a lot of pools, community pools.
Absolutely.
Great. I mean, I sound like I should be doing. We're sponsored by Visit Anaheim. I should get sponsored by Visit La Quinta or something.
I have to tell you, in my neighborhood, I think we either have 15 or 18 pools just within my association.
15 or 18
Yes,
pools. Wow.
it's either 15 or 18. I'm not sure the number. I've never counted them, and I pay attention to the main pool, and then I pay attention to the little one right near my section of the neighborhood. But they're built in clusters, for example.
And that doesn't count in most of the communities I see out there. Not all of them, but some of them have their own private pools, and as well as the public pool, or the community pool.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Well, that's partially what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Some
okay.
people have their own, but we also have a lot of cluster pools within our association itself.
I know I wouldn't report them, but I do know some folks that actually decided when they were out there, they were going along the driving range and saw a house that was all boarded up or closed up, and they happened to jump in the pool.
I've heard of things like that. I've heard of them.
and back out on the golf course within a couple of seconds.
Not participated, but I've heard. Just saying.
Yeah, it does happen like that, right? I mean, but something. There's a lot of really, really nice people out there.
Oh, there are. People are so friendly. They really are.
Yeah, and
Wonderful.
And again, that's an area that we've done helped a lot of folks here in Orange County and San Diego County that'll end up selling properties here and buying with a reverse mortgage, right? I mean,
I can believe it.
I'm a big proponent of the reverse mortgage. You can make as many payments as you want to, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. And we never know when catastrophe strikes.
You never know what the future's going to hold.
Right? I mean, that way you've got the money available if you end up needing that health care or whatever you might want.
I agree.
Or home modifications.
That travel.
Go out and have a good time. Enjoy your life.
Why save it?
Yeah.
At a certain age.
I just said that to somebody the other day. There's no U-Hauls in the processional. Just throw that out there. Right. So have a good time and enjoy life. And I'm going to tell you, that area is growing.
It is.
You just have to be careful because you do have 5 weekends a year you want to be gone.
About.
Right. You don't want to, unless you're inclined.
Half a dozen or so. But
yeah, I tell folks all the time, unless you're inclined to take part in those activities, you want to be out of town for Coachella.
That's
you
true.
want to be out of town for Stagecoach.
Well,
A lot of people coming into town.
Well,
Tennis and golf.
It's kind of fun, though, I will say, watching the activity around Coachella and watching the activity around Stagecoach. And I've attended Stagecoach several times myself.
Do you like it?
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Really?
But you know what? After a couple of times, I'm done. I can tell you I'm done.
Minnie and I have been out there for about 5 or 6 times. We've had tickets, and I get tickets from some of our radio stations.
Yes.
And I look at it, especially this last year, you could watch it at home on YouTube. It was pretty much live. and you didn't have to go out there and fight the crowds and the dust and sit in the dirt, because after Coachella, the Polo Grounds are all dirt.
Oh, it's all dirt. It's all dirt.
Now, do they put all new sod in now?
Yep,
Is that what doing?
they're working on them. They've been working on them for a while now.
Great information. If you want more information about the Coachella Valley, Lynda Eisenmann knows it. If you want more information about North Orange County, put you in touch with Lynda for that as well. And as always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean, who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.